everybody. Excited utterance here. My name's Helen, and I'm a bit later than usual today because there's some breaking news. Apparently, the real Bridge Guy video has been released, and apparently the website that it's on is released by the defense. So it is Richard Allen Transparency. And I'll put that in chat in a moment. So it's 43 seconds, which is a lot longer than the one that we've been seeing over the years, which is only a few seconds, the guys down the hill one. I'm going to play it for you in a moment. Now, as you know, I've been waiting for this video for a long time so that I can open it up and look at the images and compare them to the stills and the very short amount of frames that we've had to look at over the years. And people have always said, oh, they've been altered, they've been interpolated, they've been messed with. And I've had a bit of a look at them over the last hour or so, and I've got some thoughts. So let's jump into it, guys. Thank you, Richard Allen, justice.com transparency. Yes. I was sleeping up until about 2 hours ago. Yeah, but I was awake for when it came out. So it's only been out for a few hours. The video is bizarre. Yes, Rachel. Hey everybody. Good morning to Australians, but you're not Australian. But good morning. You can see the morning light coming in over here. Sweet Tooth Fairy, how's it going? Alrighty, hi everybody. I'm just jumping straight in here, guys. So let's get into it. So first what I'll do is I'll just show you the video that came out today. So let's go. All right, so this is the video. And I'm not going to play it too much. I'm just going to go over it once. I'm sure most of you have already seen this. So just make sure the sound is up. All right, here we go. It's pretty sad.
See, this is the path that we go down. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here. Hi.
Right. So if you didn't hear then at the very end, you really have earphones on to hear it properly. But at the very end there, you hear the guys down the hill. So it's about there, I think. No, it might be a little bit earlier. There it is. Let's play that again.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
Yeah. So it is there, but it's, yeah, Eric phones. I'll tell you the time where it's at.
Hi.
38 seconds in. So it's nowhere near the point in time where the Bridge Guy's walking. So Bridge Guy's walking there, which is, hang on, which is about 11 seconds in. And 38 seconds in is where he, I suppose, says, guys down the hill. So you don't know whether that's him saying it because he's out of frame at that point in time. He's most definitely out of frame. You cannot see him at that point in time. So there's no way you know that that's him speaking. It's an assumption that that's him speaking. So that's one point to be sure about. So I'm not here today to talk about audio. The reason I'm not going to talk about audio is because A, I'm not an audio specialist, but B, we know an audio specialist, Dali and I, that's Wilhammer Media, and He's the guy who actually found the fourth voice in the Murdoch uh, kennel video. And we've put out the word to him, and I'm hoping that he'll get back to us really shortly and do an analysis on this audio. So stick around and keep your eye out here. Hopefully, we'll have him do his analysis and come back to us on all the audio on this. So that is far more likely to yield results that we can all listen to on this. Hello, Nick. Why is it so crisp when we've heard so many times about the poor quality of the original? Are you talking about the audio or are you talking about the video, Nick? Um, I think in order to make it louder, they've done some really garbage work with the audio, but I don't think they need to. Actually, just on another stream, and I hope DB comes here shortly, he's already enhanced the audio and it sounds a lot better. Oh, the video, I'm going to show you that in a minute. I'll show you that in a minute. So we're going to get into that. And if you want to pop on, Nick, you're welcome to. I'll send you a link. Okay, so there's a fourth voice, yes, in the Murdoch video, but that's a different story. I have a link to that, actually, if one of the mods would like to put that in. There's a video about that. Yes, okay, so I'm here to talk about the quality of the frames. Okay, so let's take that away, and I need to present, oops. I'll stop that screen, and I need to present full screen of my Photoshop. And we'll go like this. Okay, here we are. Alrighty, so the thing about this is that the video is shot at first in, well, it's shot all in portrait, right? So what I find interesting about it is that it's shot in portrait, and the part that they decided to crop in on is landscape, right? So the girls were obviously a bit scared, and Libby shooting the video, assuming it's Libby shooting the video, I suppose it was, moved the camera to the side. She was dropping the camera, and when we got to this point here, see, she's dropping the camera. Sorry, I'll just move this toolbar a little bit. Actually, I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see a bit better. Okay, so she's dropping the camera to the side, and there we go. And then it goes sideways. Okay. All right. Why is it just released now? Great point, David. Excellent point. Because Judge Gull is basically a tyrant. That's why. You should see the response she wrote to Twist Media today. I was actually going to do a stream on it. It was nasty. She's so rude. It looks very good quality for an iPhone 6. Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's 1920 by 1080, which is enough to fill up a screen as long as you don't zoom in. Yeah? So everyone's saying, oh, why is it such good quality? The reason it's such good quality is because we're not zooming in, right? What you guys have been seeing all these years is this, and I'll show you. So what you guys have been seeing is this. Yeah? That doesn't suddenly look like such good quality, does it? Okay, so pixels are only as good as you are zoomed in on them, right? So he's not very good quality because he's only taking up that much real estate of a 1920 by 1080 pixel screen. He's not very big in the screen. Yes, so it looks like great quality back here because it is. Like, that's fine quality, right? But he was never big in the screen. He was never taking up enough pixels to give us a decent quality output. Yeah? Okay. So uh, it's 1:30 a.m. Couldn't they have waited until tomorrow? Yeah, I know. Bob and Sleuthie had a thought about the blurry video in court, maybe because the screen was so large in court, possibly held. Yeah, so here's the way pixels work, right? So pixels are kind of like, what's the best way of putting it? So, okay, so they're kind of like bricks in a wall, right? So if you imagine a wall made out of bricks, and there's only so many bricks in the wall, and if you walk away from the wall, the bricks in the wall look smaller. If you get closer to the wall, the bricks in the wall look bigger, right? But you're not going to put more bricks into the wall. The bricks in the wall are still there, and there's still the same amount of bricks, right? So here we are trying to look at the same amount of bricks. There they are, same amount of bricks, but just closer. Yes? And so you're looking at the same amount of bricks, and you're not going to see any more detail. You're just going to see the bricks up closer. Yeah? But when you look further away, further away, you see things that are made up of more bricks, right? So this image of the bridge, it's made up of a ton more bricks, right? So having a ton more bricks means a lot more detail. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yes. You can't create pixels where there are none. Well, you can try, but that is what's called interpolating or resampling, and that is kind of what's been done with some of the imagery that we've seen over the last couple of years, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. Right, so what I wanted to talk about next is what they did to it. So, I don't really understand why they didn't just turn it sideways. So see how it's just turned sideways. It's just upwards like that. So it's just portrait. So what I did next is I'll show you in the next tab. Okay, so this is the original video, and I just turned it sideways. You saw on CSI they can create new pixels. Yes, I'm sure they can. Okay. I bet the cops had a better quality original video, but they downgraded the quality. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. It's an iPhone 6S. I used to have one. And it's like it's not bad. This is not a bad quality video, right? It's just that we're zooming in to there. That's all, right? So it's a 180p video. I don't know what people expect it to be. Okay, so there's him in the original video, apparently, right? And turned sideways. Now, remember, there was this thing at trial about it being stabilized, right? So the image being stabilized. And I'm starting to understand what they meant by that. Here's why, right? Because if you actually, and I've just isolated the bit where I think that they used, because it only goes for about 3 seconds. Because I'll zoom out, it moves around. See what happens? See how he moves around the screen, right? See how it's like, and the reason that is because like she wasn't stable. Like so when she was dropping the phone, it's not like she had any control over keeping the image stable. So in order for them to be able to show him in one like tight little frame, they had to sort of move him around. So they kept moving it, right? So I think that's what they meant by stabilization, like making him stand up straight, I think is what the juror said. But still, I want to then compare him to what we've been seeing, All right. So fine. Okay. So if we take that into account, we go, all right. So they had to, they didn't have to do this, but what they did do was they confined him to a certain space so that they weren't watching him sort of move around the screen. All right. The tree behind interpolated man is so fake. Yeah, and I just went over to there because I was like, there's that image also of that Sleuthy put up, and I want to look at that too. And I'll bring it up also. Actually, I just open that one. 2 seconds. Yeah, he has been squashed as well. Osbrook hates that tree. Look, I hate to disagree with Michael Osbrook, but I think the thing about the tree has been debunked. I don't really I don't really understand why they fake putting a tree in there. It's a lot of work to fake putting a tree in there. We should rename it the Osbrook tree. Um, See, these blurry areas, they happen, right? They're part of the compression process. Now, I know you probably don't want to hear it, but it's part of what's called like JPEG compression. It's similar to JPEG compression, but it's not called JPEG compression. So when videos become small enough for us to message them and email them, when they become MP4s or MOVs, they go through this lossy compression, right? And the way the compression works is they take chunks of pixels that look similar to one another, and they remember only some of them, right? Um, and just because an area looks like blurry like that, that doesn't mean that it's been faked. But yeah, but there's nothing about that that explains why it couldn't be released years ago. Absolutely not. This should have been released years ago. Years ago. That's the real F tree? Okay. So the tree is much further back in reality. Osbrook is actually correct about that. Well, yeah, I've never been there, so. Hello, Deeps.
How are you?
I'm good.
What you working on here? A little project?
I'm working on a little project. I was just saying that I think Osbrook's tree has been debunked.
Yeah, poor Osbrook, man.
Yeah.
You got some new
Yeah.
lighting, huh?
No, it's just my cat opened the window and it's quite a sunny
Oh,
day.
damn. There's a cyclone. The cyclone blew the window open.
The cyclone blew the window open.
Dude, no matter how hard I try to do
No.
an Australian accent, it quickly devolves into a British accent. What's up with that?
It does.
I don't know.
Nick said it was way back when they didn't release it because it was gruesome. It was said way back when they didn't release it, it was because it was gruesome. Okay. So that was the thought, was it? That because they weren't releasing it because it was too gruesome, the images, but clearly it's not gruesome.
Well, I think
there's nothing
one
gruesome
of
about
the
this.
things was that Doug Carter said that it was the thing of nightmares. And I think that definitely given context of what happened, hearing the girls' voices, you can really hear the tone of their voice. It is heartbreaking. It's extremely sad to hear, but without context of if you didn't know anything about this case and you watch this video, I mean, it's utterly unremarkable. And so it doesn't seem like, it would be anything graphic. I mean, it doesn't seem like you would describe it that way.
Yeah. So, okay, next thing I wanted to do was I brought in one of the images from the old BG video. So actually, I brought in the old BG video. So I went and got the video that we've all been looking at for all these years, right? And I put it over the top. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting to see, what the difference is between that and this. So this is approximately, well, not approximately, this is exactly how much it's been scaled up. Old video, there it is. So I got this directly off, well, when I say exactly, I got it straight off YouTube, like the one that we've all been watching, right? And I don't know if there's any, like, I'm sure there's others. Sure, there's other versions of this. There's tons of versions of this. But that's where they cropped him to. Yeah.
Can I
If
answer this?
anyone's, yeah, go.
Somebody asked Rachel, do the girls sound scared to you? You know what it reminds me of? When you're like at the store with your friends and you're like 13 or 14 years old and somebody like screams something really loud as a goof and there's like a store attendant over there and you're like, oh, you're like kind of awkward, but like you're just kind of like trying to rush and get out of an awkward situation. I think that's about as emotional, about as emotive of a response as I could think of that I could feel about just their interactions and their tone of voice.
I have no idea. I'm just not willing to speculate on it. I don't know. So yeah, so this is the BG we've been watching in the videos, and PS, that's not the squashed version. So the squashed version is what was in the frame, right? So that was the frame that was released before the video was released, and I'll show you that. We go look at the frame. Just go to here. I have to go down the timeline a little bit. There we go. Right. So squash version is this. Right. So you can see, and thank you to Sleuthy for putting those two together side by side. Right. So you can see that this is the video we've been watching here on the left. Oops, hang on, just move this all a little bit so we're out of the way. Okay. So this on the left is the video we've all been watching. This here is a still from the video that was released today. And that is the frame that was released by law enforcement. And I believe that was the only thing that was around for a while. Right, DB?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then later on, there was the Guys Down the Hill video came out, and it was like, oh, it came to life. So, and yeah, that's definitely squashed. Like, there's no question about it. This guy here looks much taller, right? So that in itself is deceiving. Now, so I'll just turn this one off. We'll go back. All right. So the reason I wanted to show this here is because we can now see exactly how much bigger the image is compared to the one that's in the original video, right? So in order to get this to be this size, you have to make pixels out of nothing, right? So you have to do resampling or interpolating, and I've shown you guys that in previous videos. So let's go ahead and look closer at the video that we were shown today. That's it, guys. Does that look more or less detailed than the ones we've seen previously to you? Because to me, that looks less detailed, I think. I mean, look at it. Look at that. There's stuff all information in that. It's just a blob. Bridge thumb.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people are saying this is the enhanced version. I just listened to Kara say that it's not. It is the version directly from the cell phone. Michael said the same thing. And guys, this just doesn't look enhanced to me.
How is it enhanced? Like this, like if that's enhanced, then that's the best image I can get of Richard Allen out of it. If that's
Yeah,
Richard Allen.
and what people have to
Or-
understand too is like just because it's enhanced doesn't mean it's better. So
Yeah.
this doesn't look like it has any post processing on it because
Yeah, look
there's
at it, it's all pixels.
do
Yeah.
that just simply by cropping the video and putting a tracking a point on it on like Abby's face, you could do that in 5 seconds and it's not done. So there's just simple things like that. You know, an audio noise filter is not on it. So I don't see any evidence that this is the enhanced version.
When we say like, okay, so yeah, as you said, enhanced, what does enhanced mean? So I see no evidence of it being enhanced, as in there's no change in orientation. There's no, I don't see any interpolating. I see some evidence of compression, and that's normal, right? So compression will occur when the file is saved in a format like MOV or MP4, MP, uh, HT, H246, I think it's called. There's a few of them, but the one that is saved out of the iPhone is MP4, and they have compression on them. Like, and when compression happens, it's just like JPEG, which is what I'm mostly familiar with, which is a lossy format, still format. And it does exactly the same thing as JPEG, and that is it only records pieces of the pixels, and it shows these sort of chunky bits, right? You see these chunky bits. That's the easiest way to explain it. You get these areas that look kind of blurred, and it's because it sees areas that are similar to one another, and it only records those rather than every single pixel of information. So that in itself doesn't mean enhanced or degraded, or well, is it a little bit degraded? But it doesn't mean enhanced. It's just a remnant of the file format. Okay, so let's go back. So looking at this, which is the thing we've been looking at over the years, that's the one we've been looking at, right? That to me looks like it's got more detail added in, don't you think? Don't you think?
Maybe.
Is it what's interpolated?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, look at this. It's definitely resampled out. And it's got like a blur and sharpen on it.
This is a picture you took, or a screenshot you took, or did you?
No. This is the BG video that is up on YouTube at the moment. That there.
Well, there's definitely some interpolation here. but that's to be expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a little bit less detailed.
Well, you can tell that it's smoother, right? Like compared to uh this. Maybe not.
Yeah. That actually looks more like a tightly folded baseball cap now that versus the other one.
It does, hey. Hang on. Sorry. If I press the space bar, it all goes for a walk. Okay. So what I might do now is I might grab the new BG video and I might upscale it with my software instead and see if I can get a better upscale than has been done with this old one. To me, it looks like a cloth peaked cap. Okay, let me see. Oops, sorry. Got the video playing in the background here. All right, so let me see. What's also going to be interesting is in a minute, I'm going to also look at Abby and do a check on her clothing because there's going to be all the questions about whether or not she matches the Snapchat pic. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of that and I'm going to go forward a little bit. Okay, so there he is there. There's new BG. There he is, new BG. And I'm going to duplicate him and I'm going to make I'm going to rasterize him. And I'm going to take him and crop him. Cool. Put him up there. And I might just turn everything else off for a minute. Silly me, I need to be over there. Okay. What about his shoes? People are asking questions about his shoes. What about them exactly? I can actually just take him to a new document. Right, so that's from the new video. And I'm going to use the new technology from Photoshop 2025. Why? Just because we can. Let's see if we can get any more detail out of it. I don't think we will. But why not? And we'll remove JPEG artifacts, which is the same as removing the MP4 artifacts. Sharpen it up. I'm not going to enhance the face details because I don't want any fake face details coming in. Okay, we'll zoom up. Go okay. No, that's what you get with the new BG video. Guys, what do you think? I still contend that you can't tell who the hell that is. It's a blurry face. It's a blurry face. Oh, hey, Diane. How are you? Look, I'm of the point of view that no matter what, you cannot tell who this person is. And just having this new video come out it's kind of cemented it in my mind, unfortunately, that he's too far away. You can't tell. You can't tell much. But he does seem to be taller. He does seem to be, like, he's taller than that squash picture, obviously. So we can see that about him. But you can't make out his face. You just can't make out his face. Simple as that. I don't think, guys, from this, I don't think we've been as misled as we thought we had. I think it's been shit that we've only just received it. That's absolute crap. I understand now what this whole stabilization thing is. They were trying to keep him inside the frame because he was moving. See him moving? And I mean, not him moving, but the phone was moving. Do you guys understand that the phone was moving? So therefore, they were trying to keep him in the proportion of the frame, so the jurors didn't have to look around. I have a big problem with the audio not being at the same time as showing him. I got a giant problem with that because it's just an assumption that he's the one speaking. Right? That's a pure assumption, right? So as we showed earlier, the audio happens at a completely different time, right? So you don't know. The audio happens at like 38 seconds in, whereas the time that he's walking is at 11 seconds in. So that's completely misleading, right? I mean, assuming like assuming they all played all the audio at the same time as the video, was that pointed out? I mean, the jury didn't pay that much attention, but you would hope. Oops, sorry. But I do get the whole putting him in one frame. I get that bit, but we should have seen this much earlier. I get that I get why it looks so blurry. I completely get that because we're zoomed in on a very, very small part of a 180p. When I say 180p, 180 pixels, 1080 pixels video. I get that. That makes sense. But when you're zoomed in on something with that few pixels, that's what you get, right? That is what you get. It has been upsampled a few times by probably by different people, I would say, especially when you see different versions on the internet. I don't know whether it's come from the state always or whether there's been other people who've intervened and tried to upsample him. But regardless, if he started out at that size, and it seems to me that he did, if he started out at that size, no wonder that he looks so blurry, right? He's only this big. He's a few bricks in a wall made up of a lot more bricks. So he doesn't have enough bricks to give us the detail. That simple. Everything looks weird. Why he look floating? Let's play a little bit and see. Oh God, so hard because he moves around so much. But it's not him moving around. Everyone looks floating on this bridge. And everything looks weird on this bridge. So that's it. That's all you get. Sorry, I'll just make this a bit smaller. Oops. Yeah. So there's literally like 3 seconds of him walking. And then he's gone. And guys, I'm focusing in on this because this is why we've all thought for a long time that we've been misled, right? And I want to look at this particular part because I want to see how badly we've been misled, if we have. I think, yeah, it's an optical illusion, Judge Jessica. Hey, Purple, Amaryllis, whatever the brown is around his waist looks distinctive. I think it's well, we call it a bum bag here in Australia. Oh, by deep. But fanny pack is what you call it. I think personally that's what it is. I mean, from back here, you can see it more clearly, and that's the way pixels work, right? Like when you look closely at something that's low resolution, it looks just like a bunch of boxes, like a bunch of bricks. Yeah. But when you look at it from far back, it looks like a house. So yeah, back here, it looks like a man, possibly with a bum bag or fanny pack. But you can't tell who the person is because he's far away. You zoom in, and there's not enough bricks to make up his facial features. I know you call them fanny pack in America. Well, we call a fanny, that's your front part. So we don't really understand why you'd call it that. But anyway, fanny is your part. Yeah. Yeah. Um. Yeah. You can barely tell if that's like. I guess that's his nose. But that's it. You got a little bit of shadow. Maybe some sunglasses, but who knows? Like it's probably more likely to be the shadow on his cap. You can tell he's a white male. That's probably a hoodie. And his jacket's definitely blue. It's not black. That is a blue jacket. I mean, did anyone ever find that blue jacket? I mean, they goddamn searched his house. Who would think they would have found his jacket? We all see first metric new fanny. You see JD Vance's face. So yeah, I feel not as badly led astray as I did before. I don't like the fact that I do not like the fact that uh, this happened. I really don't like the fact that this happened with the squashed image. I don't get that at all. That makes no sense to me. Zero sense to me. Why? Why would they do that? Even you can so tell. Like even the angle of the bridge is wrong there. The angle of the bridge is so wrong. Hey Nick, on iPhone 6, how good was autofocus for the video to not blur once while being moved around like that? I remember that it used to be able to like find a subject, but not blur once while being moved around like that. Well, it's blurring this thing in the foreground. Hang on. See this? So it's blurring this thing in the foreground and it's focusing on her. And the background's not exactly in focus. So it finds the subject. And Judge Jessica, look, I understand the court especially, but also the prosecutors, but the court has bred distrust, right? So of course we're questioning everything. I place the blame on them for breeding this element of distrust amongst all of us. Because when you only give us a little bit of the picture, of course we're going to be like, well, we don't trust anything that you say, or any piece of evidence that you give us, we're going to look at everything and pull it to pieces, right? But that doesn't mean that everything that we get is false. It just doesn't mean that, right? So, if we go around saying that everything's false, then no one's going to believe us, right? We have to look at it fairly objectively, and there are some things in this video that are perfectly fine, right? I can see why they stabilized the video. I can see why there are some areas that are blurry, and when I say blurry, I mean degraded due to the compression. I can see that. I can see why he is garbage quality compared to the foreground, because I mean that's just pure pixel theory, pure resolution theory. Right? And if anyone wants further explanation on that, please let me know. Okay, so he's just not made up of as many pixels as the foreground is. He's smaller. Really simple. I think it's split up. What do you mean split up? I'm not an expert thou, but I have eyeballs. What do you mean by split up, Joanna? Yeah, if you can explain that one, that would be cool. I'm happy to help with that. But the things that I do feel really misled about are the audio being released on top of the video at the wrong time. I think that's just ridiculous, right? So yeah, for the audio and video, one full bridge guy video. For the video we've been watching for years, for it to be him walking at the same time as it says, as supposedly BG is saying, guys down the hill, when they were like 20 seconds apart in the video we received today. That's misleading. That is really misleading. And also for us to be seeing this image, which is clearly squashed. It's clearly squashed to make him look shorter. I don't see any other reason why you would release something like that unless it's to distort the image to the public. I don't get that. Right. So I feel very misled about this, and I feel very misled about the sound being at the wrong time in the video. Also, yeah, and the third thing is, why the hell didn't we get to see the rest of it up till now? Why? Yeah. Can I make a better version of the BG walking loop? Not immediately. Reason being that I would have to do pretty much the same thing that the state did, and that is get him to be all in the one frame, right? So I'd have to track him basically. So that's take him and move him into one frame. So that would take me a little bit of time. Probably could do a better job, but yeah, I would have to do that work. So yeah. Is this what Becky said was the enhanced video? This is what Becky said was the enhanced video. No, I don't think so. No. Right, so, okay, in regard to that, I don't think this is the enhanced video. I think this is the full video that was played, but the enhanced video is more like what we saw. Wow. There's one that has like the edges cut off, and he's more like in a little triangle, right? I've seen it somewhere, but it's more like this. Hang on a second. I'll just stop this share, and I'll start another one. Hang on a minute. Give me a second. Just a moment, guys. Bridge guy video. Maybe this should probably do it. Hang on. Okay, so present, share. Well, apparently this was played to them. So that's from October last year, or Indie Star. So click play at 0.25. Right. So when the juror said enhanced, and she also talked about stabilized, as in to make him stand up straight. Remember, she used those words, right? And you know how I couldn't get him to be in one frame like this, right? Because Libby was dropping the phone at the time, right? Yes, that's what Judge Jessica. Yes, so that's stabilized, right? Stabilized and enhanced too, because look at him. Look at him. He's all smoothed out and he's not all pixely like the one we were looking at in Photoshop, right? So this would be stabilized and enhanced. Yeah. So they saw both. They saw the whole video and then they saw this, right? So the juror was talking about this one, the stabilized and enhanced version, to make him stand up straight, right? And I get it now. Now that I've seen the full one, I understand what she meant. But to us out here who aren't privileged enough to see everything and be privy to the exhibits, that just made no sense, right? What do you mean you need him to stand up straight, right? It just sounded really misleading. So, but yeah, like here, he looks like he's got a goddamn bandana on or something. It's kind of weird, don't you think? Like, look at him. That looks different. What's infuriating is that Judge Gull allowed the witness to narrate the video. Ah, yes, that's right, Nick. That's right. I still think that this could be an enhanced version, regardless of what the defense are saying. It sounds like how Andrea described the enhanced version, and Bob too. I'm confused. We'll have to get them to weigh in on it once they've had a look at what's come out today. I don't see how, like, what's enhanced about it. There's nothing good about what we saw today. There's just nothing there. Like, I can't see anything of value. So, guys, unless there's any other questions, if you'd like me to look further at is there any part of it that you'd like me to look further at whilst I'm live, let me know. Otherwise, I'll do a shorter video recapping the main points of this and put it out later on. Is it a green bandana? No, I don't think it's a bandana at all. The reason I don't think it's a bandana is because in the actual video, you don't see anything like that. Hang on, I'll just stop that screen and present this. Look, do you see a green bandana? Do you see a green bandana? I don't. I see a big blur or nothing. See? We can move it a bit, we can move it, we can go forward and back. I don't see any green bandana. Exactly. Right? And so that's been my concern all along, that there's this resampling or interpolating, so making pixels out of nothing that are creating shapes that people are seeing that aren't there. Yeah? And now we get to see the original, and we're like, now we can really see, hey, that's not there. There's no green bandana, right? There's no lots of things. Hang on. Yeah, see? Mm. See how different it looks? Can you please look at when the girls are off the bridge? People have commented on seeing two shadows for Libby. Yeah, okay. You're right, Nick. The human brain always fills in things that aren't there because we think something should be there. You are so right. It's the same with words as well. People do that. Just a sec. I sent you a link, Nick, if you want it. Okay. All right, so let me find this part of the video that you're talking about. Is it right at the end, did you say? Hey, woman. Where is it approximately, guys? Around there? Okay, so I'm at 38 seconds. There's a foot. So that's Abby. Okay, so you meant there, right? Hey, KO. If you go back to when Abby is still on the bridge, the shadows are best there. Sorry, what do you mean? One of the shadows is Shadow Hedgehog. Stop it, Travi. Because she's talking to someone, then it repeats to Abby. Do you guys want to keep watching this or not? Because don't know if there's much more there. Where you can clearly see Libby's shadow, and earlier I was looking for the shadow of who she was speaking to. KO, can you give me a timestamp? That would be cool. When Abby is still on the bridge, her shadows at best. So there's one person there. Looks like one person there. Foot. That's Libby's foot. Going backwards, going backwards. So there's, that would be Libby. Yep. Up. Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's anything weird there. So it looks like Abby comes up and walks around her from behind because she ends up on the other side of her. 19. Okay. Yes, 19. It could be her narrating the video, but it could also be her talking to someone with her, and that's why BG says guys, not girls, because it's a mixed gender group of teens. But if she was talking to someone, you would think you would see their shadow. Maybe. So are you guys wondering whether this is two people? Is that it? That's right after Abby runs by. Is that right after Abby runs by? Yes, it is. Yeah, that's her running by there. Because she ends up, yeah. Oh, there's her running by. Okay, so she runs by there at 21 or so. I'm not sure, guys. I think what's going to be, what I need to do, guys, is I need to get Wilhelm, our audio tech, to go through the audio and pull as much out as he can. Because it was really frustrating before watching Vinny and Barbara go through and go, oh, I think she says this, and I think I hear this, and blah blah blah. And I was just like, ugh, guys, this is really you're just like you're putting words in people's ears, and once they hear them, then they're not going to be able to unhear them. You can't unring the bell, you know. So the audio needs to be clarified first. Like you need a professional to go in there and get as much information out of it as you can. So yeah, we're on to him. So hopefully he'll be able to look into that and get back to us ASAP, because he's really good. He's really, really good. Yeah, like I said, he found a fourth voice in the kennel video, the Murdoch kennel video. There was Alec Murdoch was there, his wife and son, and there was someone else there. There was a fourth person there in those kennels that day. It was clear as day. Yeah. Anyway, I am going to head off, guys. Please tell your friends to come back and watch the stream. I will make a shorter video just going through the main points of this and pop it up hopefully later today, if not you guys morning. Especially if there's other things. If there's questions, please put them into the comments and I'll address those as well. So big day, one we've been waiting for a long time, far too long, far too long. Again, if it weren't for the court and the state playing hidey games with everybody with all this information and just being dubious, we wouldn't have this distrust and we wouldn't be having to just question everything. But of course we're questioning everything because of their actions. It's as simple as that. And like, not everything's a conspiracy, obviously, but it seems like it. It feels like it. So yeah, here we are chasing our tails all the time, trying to work out what's real and what's not. So thank you everybody for hanging out. And yeah, I'll look into it a bit more. Obviously, this was a first pass, but yeah, from what I see, I'm fairly confident in the things that I've said so far. But yeah, I'll have another bit of a look, and I'll post something more shortly. Thank you all for hanging out, and here's the song. Always need a song.
Her name was Helen. She was a Nazi. She was a fake lawyer from the future. She got on YouTube and made some live streams. The co-host is Dolly and she dances sometimes. The words are always so loud, and because she's an 803. To be certain, excited ignorance. Her cat is